Instagram. Hello, hello, everybody. And we are good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world, Instagram and on Facebook, Hummingbird Academy today. Beautiful people. There we go. We are live. All right. If you're watching us, guys, on live on Facebook, Hummingbird Academy today, welcome. And welcome, people are joining. People are joining on Instagram. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are here for a treat. Thank you, and stay with us because we are really for a treat if you are interested in what I'm about to say and what my guest, a special guest, is going to say today. Guys, without further ado, let's officially start. Welcome to Dream Big with Jana, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. This is the show where I interview experts in different areas from entrepreneurship, creativity, relationships, parenting, spirituality, and beyond to give you some strategies, tactics, and inspiration to keep moving forward towards your big dreams and break through any possible limitations. And today, my special guest on the show is an amazing soul, absolutely phenomenal human being, Lama Tantrapa. If you, again, yes, hi Lama, welcome. Now, do you say namaste or namaskar? Because it depends.
Namaste is fine.
Either way. Okay, because I learned both and we can do either one. So if you guys are watching us live on Facebook or in replay on Facebook, you can see Lama on the screen. If you guys are with us on Instagram, you cannot see Lama, but hopefully you can hear his voice and my voice clearly. All right, so let me give a few nuggets from his official bio so that you know who our guest is. Lama Tantrapa is the lineage holder of Tibetan Shamanic Qigong, also known as Qi Dao. He has over 40 years of experience practicing and teaching Aikido, Tai Chi, Qigong, and other healing and martial arts. An ordained Lama in the Tibetan Shamanic tradition called Bong, Lama Tantrapa received religious asylum in the United States in 1997. Since then, he has been sharing his art of being in the flow and teaching thousands of people how to experience spiritual awakening in the dream called daily life through dream yoga and Qi Dao. In 2000, Lama Tantrapa founded Academy of Qi Dao that became the first and only school in the world offering professional certification training in Qigong Coaching, the profession he pioneered by integrating the ancient arts of Qigong and dream yoga with the modern methodologies of high performance, health, and life coaching. Lama Tantrapa is also known for producing and hosting for over 10 years the award-winning talk show, The Secrets of Qigong Masters, publishing Mastery Magazine, organizing summits of Qigong masters, and creating Qigong mastermind groups for Qigong teachers and experts interested in collaboration and achieving greater success together. And that is just a little snippet of what Lama does. And let me tell you that Lama and I, we met several years ago in one of the business programs that we were doing together. And he just always strikes me as a very wholesome, like round-up individual, very spiritually awakened soul, very content. And I'm happy to have you on the show, Lama. So welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Jana. It's a real pleasure to be with you on the show.
Yes, the pleasure is mine, as they say. Now, let's just dive right into the conversation. The title of this episode is How to Be in the Flow, and that is your jam. But let me start with the question that I always start with, because the program is called Dream Big with Jana. What is your big dream? And it could be more than one.
Well, I believe that we are an evolving species. Human beings are not done evolving. As a matter of fact, now we can participate in this process consciously. So my big dream is to facilitate conscious human evolution. And for myself, I personally find myself kind of being on the cutting edge of this process. And I help other people, like-minded spirits, to get into this flow of evolutionary process and occupy the places they deserve on the cutting edge of conscious human evolution.
Mm. Thank you so much. This is really big. It's really huge, and of course
You asked the dream big.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yes, there we are. I love that. I love that. So let's get into your ocean story. I think that's the root of how you got into this whole path that you are on, in Qigong specifically.
Well,
So
I got the path of Qigong actually at a rather young age of 6, when my grandfather, who was a Qigong master in his own right, and a lineage holder at his time, started teaching me some of the tidbits of what eventually became the whole body of knowledge of Qi Dao that I inherited from him and perpetuate as my lineage. But the story is actually very interesting, what you're asking about. My story of pretty much a near-death experience in the Atlantic Ocean.
that sounds intriguing.
Somewhere around 1997, I believe it was 1997, or maybe even before that. I was coming back from my training with one of the well-known authors and experts in wilderness survival skills, Tom Brown Jr. And a friend of mine from Canada, he's a Canadian actor named Craig, and I ended up being in New York City, and we didn't really like New York City because we were just coming back from the wilderness survival training. So what are we doing in the big city? We got on train and we went as far east from New York as we could. Well, we were on a big island called Long Island, and it's long, and we traveled all the way to the very easternmost tip of it. And there is a little town called Montauk on the tip of the island. And so we got off the train, and we found a place where we were going to hang out for a little bit. And nearby was a beach. So we went to the beach to check it out. It was August, maybe the middle of August, and the weather was nice, warm, but stormy. There were big waves flooding the beach. Well, we were just coming back from the survival camp, and I said, well, you know what? I have something that I wanted to show you. It's the technique for getting really grounded, so you don't get knocked off your feet, even by these big waves that are rolling over this beach. And so we basically started practicing digging our feet into the sand and standing really strong, even though the waves were pounding us. And then we got a little more confident and got a little bit further into the water. And the water was, again, pounding on us, and we were standing strong and having a lot of good fun time. Until one particularly big wave swept me off my feet, and the undertow sucked me into the ocean. I had no way to grab on anything because it was just sand on the beach. So I literally got pulled away from the beach by this undertow, by this riptide current. And I was a relatively good swimmer, so I started swimming. And I swam really, really fast at the top of my speed because I didn't want to end up being sucked into the ocean. I knew that it's the end of Long Island. So the next piece of land eastward, well, is Ireland, which is about 3,000 miles away or something like that. So I was determined that I didn't want to get sucked into the ocean, and I was swimming, and I was swimming hard, and I swam for about 20 minutes nonstop, but didn't get any closer to the beach. I actually ended up being pulled farther and farther away despite all my efforts. So I got exhausted. I couldn't swim anymore.
Mhm.
And I decided to give myself a break, basically a rest, kind of floating on a surface of water. My grandfather taught me how to basically relax on the surface and just float. And so I did. Luckily enough, it was far enough from shore, so the waves were not pounding on me. They were just lulling me, tossing me up and down gently.
Mhm.
And as I was floating, I realized I was about a quarter mile away from shore. So my chances of getting back on shore were slim to none if I just kept doing what I had been doing, because doing the same thing and expecting different results, that's what we call insanity. So I decided that I need to swim at a different angle. And once I recovered a little bit, I started to swim, and I was swimming hard and fast as much as I could. I didn't get close to the shore. As a matter of fact, I think I was kept going farther and farther away, and I was kind of discouraged. As a matter of fact, I realized, well, nobody is coming to the rescue. My friend was somewhere on the beach. I couldn't even see him anymore. And it was probably my last day on Earth. So I decided, okay, well, I'm not going to be making my last day miserable. I'm going to basically experience what I can to enjoy as much as I can. And when I become a fish food, well, that's my destiny. And, it's a good day to die. I had been in near-death experiences in the past prior to that. And so, served in the military, was in numerous car accidents, was kidnapped and held for ransom, tortured. I mean, all kinds of crappy things happened to me when I was not in the flow. So I realized I want to experience flow.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I remembered, it was that I had just heard about people somewhere in Hawaii doing some crazy thing called surfing.
Mhm.
I had never surfed before, never been to the Atlantic Ocean.
Mhm.
So it basically was like, okay, well, how do they do that? Well, of course, they have surfboards. I had no surfboard. The only thing I had was a pair of the Speedos on my butt, and that was the only thing that I had. And I figured, okay, I can try to surf these waves just body surfing. Well, I had nothing better to do, so I started practicing. And I tried, and after about 15, 20 minutes of efforts, I actually managed to catch one of those waves. And I surfed for about 5
Were
seconds
you on your back or
on
on
my
your
tummy.
on your
I
tongue?
swam really fast, and I caught up with the wave, and I started kind of sliding down the front end of the wave, but the wave was picking me up, and I kept sliding, and eventually the wave just kind of rolled from underneath me and kept going
Pushed you.
to shore.
Mhm.
But I had a few seconds of this amazing experience of catching the ride on the wave. So I had a little bit of uh, extra moral support, moral boost. So I decided, okay, I'm not going to get discouraged by this fact that I couldn't catch it. I'll try again. And so I tried again and again and again, and spent probably another half an hour experimenting. It was not easy.
Mhm.
I don't know how people do it. I mean, eventually, of course, I lived in Hawaii and I learned how to surf. And I have a friend who's actually a world champion in body surfing, an Australian who actually holds the world record on surfing a 50-foot wave with nothing but a pair of flippers or fins on his feet. Now,
Phenomenal.
incredible. I
Yeah.
had no fins and I had no idea how to do it. So I basically was toast. And I realized, well, there is nothing I can really do because I can't figure out this surfing thing. And so I just decided, okay, I'm just going to relax here and see how long hypothermia will take to set in. Because the weather was really relatively warm, but still,
Very cool.
there's only so much time we can spend in the ocean before hypothermia happens. And so, as I was kind of being lulled into a relative relaxation by the waves tossing me up and down, I noticed that the waves were not all the same. Some were bigger than others. So I was like, well, okay, this is my last chance. I am pretty exhausted from all this attempts. I'm probably half a mile away from the shore now because it just keeps, the current keeps pushing me away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just waited watching these waves. And after a few minutes of doing that, I saw a really nice big wave coming my way. Obviously, it wasn't a 50-foot wave, maybe it was 10-foot or maybe even less, but it was a nice wave compared to the others. And so as it was approaching me, I started to swim really, really hard, like literally for my life. And I managed to catch this wave. And I realized I don't want it to pass under me. I need to stay on it, on the cutting edge of this wave. And so I actually realized I need to keep swimming. I cannot just relax. I cannot just wait for the wave to do the work for me. I actually need to keep on going. And so I swam down the slope of the wave. But the wave kept picking me up. And before it would roll from underneath me, I would swim and I would keep swimming, and it literally kept going and took me all the way to the beach.
Wow.
And slammed me on the sand really hard. But I didn't complain because I was back on dry land. So my friend was nowhere to be seen. Obviously, I ended up being at some other part of the beach other than where we started. But I basically was like, this is amazing. I actually caught the flow and it saved my life. Well, if it can save my life, what else can it do? So it's been a big topic of my exploration and studies and work, learning how to be more in the flow, how to apply it to my different aspects of my life, and also how to help other people manifest and live their dreams by learning how to be in the flow.
So what was the lesson? What was the lesson for you? What did you realize in that? So being in the, like, catching the big wave and not, what resonated with me is that you decide, the moment when you decided, oh, you can't just relax, you have to keep moving. You have to keep helping the wave to bring you to the shore. Is that?
Well, a whole bunch of lessons. I mean, obviously, one of them is to pay attention. Where are the waves coming and where are they going? There is no chance to surf the waves if you don't pay attention to where they're coming and where they're going. You need to learn how to catch up with the waves. So basically work on your speed and timing and all the other qualities that literally allow you to merge with the flow of the wave, at least for a moment. And like you said, also not just resting on the laurels. You've got to maintain this dynamic balance of sliding down the slope, but at the same time, not going too fast, not going too slow.
And also not going upstream, because it didn't get you anywhere. It just
when
you were going for 20 minutes, it's just exhausting. That's my biggest lesson from your story, as I see it. It's just like you said, it's a bunch, but the first biggest idea that stands out for me is you can't wait to manifest your dream. We'll get into that right away. You can't wait, but you also can't go upstream. You have to find the flow and go with the flow, but keep moving. So helping the universe, right, to bring you to the shore. So that's, thank you guys for joining us on Instagram. Yes, thank you. We are talking with Lama Tantrapa, the Qigong master, Qigong coach, and he just finished sharing this incredible story. Thank you so much. It's gonna stay with me forever. And that's the topic of our conversation today, how to be in the flow, Lama. And my next question would be, by the way, a little bit, it's not a deviation, but when I was reading, you wrote a book, right? How to, the art of being in the flow. And you guys can find it on Amazon. I just looked it up. In the introduction, what I noticed, somebody who was giving the testimonial for the book said that Lama in that book made a clear distinction between intention and attention. Could you clarify that? Because you just mentioned that too.
Yes, that's a nice awareness to distinguish between intention and attention. Obviously, we don't want to get rid of intention. It's a popular buzzword nowadays. People want to be intentional about everything. However, let's not forget about the power of attention. And what is this, the power of attention? Well, basically, where attention goes, energy flows.
Yes.
Not where intention goes, energy flows. It's where attention goes. Where you pay attention, you actually focus your awareness. And it's not just information exchange, it's also energy exchange. So what we do is we learn how to develop the quality of attention that most people lack in the contemporary lifestyle. We live not just in the pandemic of COVID-19, we also live in the pandemic of all kinds of other issues, including attention deficit disorder. And yeah, lack of attention is not
only in children. Sorry,
but to be a child to be deficient in terms of attention. Virtually anyone who goes on the internet trains their attention to be really short span.
Yeah.
So what we do is we learn how to develop the quality of attention that would enable us to experience continuing or sustained attentiveness for as long as we need to, which is the definition of mindfulness, by the way.
Yes. What's your definition of Qigong in general? And I know you get that question a lot, but for people who are completely new to the subject, because there's so many, there's like, even in your bio, in your official, you were teaching Aikido or Tai Chi, and all of a sudden you are Qigong or and the founder of Qi Dao Academy, right? So what is your definition of Qi Dao or Qigong?
Well, so for uninitiated, let me give you a funny definition. You know yoga?
Yes. But
Great.
not here.
Well, you know Tai Chi or maybe Kung Fu?
I mean, I know the names. These are the names of the martial arts.
The movies with Bruce Lee, perhaps?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine that these two arts, Tai Chi and yoga, hooked up and had a baby. And this baby inherited the best qualities of both of the parents. The energy awareness, awareness of breath and body posture alignment, as in yoga, but without having to hold silly poses and twist yourself into a pretzel till cows come home. And also develop gracefulness and precision and power in movement, as in Kung Fu and Tai Chi. Develop balance and strength and ability to project energy or deal with energy projections coming at you without having to memorize long forms and having to repeat them day in and day out. Now, this is my definition of Qi Dao, that of course is somewhat joking definition, but it actually has a major kernel of truth because it points at the essence of the arts. The essence of both yoga and Qigong and Kung Fu It's the same essence. It's exploration of how we deal with energy in our own bodies and also around us. How do we deal with energy fields that we're swimming in all the time?
Mm-hmm.
How do we deal with certain energy resources within ourselves? How do we connect with resources that we need if we want to become resourceful? And also, how do we deal with other people's energies and energies of place and energy of time, the zeitgeist? And how do we deal with some energy projections that some people may project at us or circumstances in life challenge us with? This is the art of energy awareness that can teach you how to be in the flow. That can teach you how to stop struggling against the flow of life and actually learn how to surf the waves on the ocean of life gracefully and efficiently.
So thank you so much, from your experience, and you have over 40 years of teaching, coaching, doing masterminds. What are the most profound results?
People don't believe me when I say I have this many years of experience. They say, you're only 40 years of age. Did you start when you were a baby? Well, I'm actually a bit older than that, but I just look relatively young because I practice Qigong.
Nice. Yes, that's a great answer. Very graceful. Okay, guys, I think you just sold me on the idea of practicing Qigong daily, and I mean it. So my question is, the next question that I wanna ask you: what are the profound results that you just stand out? I'm sure there were many, but what are the ones that you would like to share with our audience today? Something that specifically happened with you or to you. I don't believe that it's to you, it's with you. It's always co-creation. And maybe the students, your coaching students, and it could be from different areas of life.
For sure. Well, I just shared the story of survival.
Yeah.
I have many other instances in my life when my studies, my practice, and my attitude actually allowed me to survive many situations where I would perish had I not been able to pay attention and tap into some resources that perhaps I didn't even know I had. I literally was shot at, blown up, tortured, kidnapped, held for ransom. I experienced all kinds of car accidents, including 2 rollover car accidents in one night, traveling from Cherkasy to Kharkiv, Ukraine, in the middle of winter, in the middle of the night. Our car just simply flew off the elevated highway because the road was so slick, covered with black ice. There was no traction. And we literally rolled over several times.
Yeah.
One time. And then we pushed the car back on that elevated highway in the middle of nowhere, just open fields everywhere, Ukraine. And so we kept going. It's the middle of the night. If we didn't keep going, we would just freeze to death in that car. So we kept going. And sure enough, the guy who was driving the car, he lost the control of the car again. And we flew off that highway and had another rollover car accident twice in one night. Ridiculous things like that,
And you attribute, and the reason you survived, you attributed only to, not only, but mainly to your practice of Qigong.
Yes. For example, in the first instance, I was sitting in the front seat and I actually didn't even have a seatbelt on me.
Russia, I mean, Ukraine, same thing. Yeah, I'm from Russia, you are from Ukraine originally. We did not, guys, I know it sounds bizarre if you are from the US, but we were not in the habit of wearing a seatbelt. It's one of the things.
That's not macho enough. So what did I do? I actually had the wherewithal to brace myself against the ceiling of the car. And I pushed against it as we were rolling head over toes. And I literally managed to survive that accident. The second accident in the same night, I had actually traded the seats with a student of mine who was sitting in the back seat. So she sat in the front, I was in the back. The second time we rolled over, the car actually flew and spun in the air so that it hit the ground with the back end of the car. And the lid of the trunk literally slid into the passenger's compartment, breaking the rear window. It was Zhiguli or Lada car. And so I had only split second to figure out what could possibly help me survive. Because had I done the same thing, bracing against the ceiling, it would have decapitated me.
Yeah.
So I quickly changed what I was doing. I did not brace against the ceiling. I grabbed the front seat and put my head down as far as I could. The lid of the trunk literally scraped the back of my head. So I have like a little divot actually hit me hard enough to create a dent in my skull, but it didn't cut my head off. So I was happy about that. It's just this being able to not only survive, but actually to thrive despite all the challenges that life throws at you.
And these are pretty heavy ones. Yeah, it's like life and death situations. It doesn't have to be that severe, but I know you share it with me. I don't know if it's okay to mention that you were helping someone, one of your coaches or girlfriend with breast cancer, and it just with incredible results using the techniques that you are teaching, which is amazing. And one more, Lama, I am just absolutely positive that we're gonna have round 2 for the conversation, because there's so much that we can dive into. But I want to know if one of the things, as we were talking about before the interview, that you help people to achieve is you help them to achieve their big dreams. And I wonder if you can maybe demonstrate something specific that people, and me included, the program is called Dream Big with Jana. So definitely I do have a big dream. I have more than one. And what?
Could you share with us right now what you
Yes. So just like you, well, your dream is super big, and it's humanity, and it goes beyond the boundaries of this planet. Mine is exactly the same, and my message, I want to stay true to the message. It's like the theme song to the TV show that I do. It's called the Kids Universe TV show, where I interview kids, so that I call all of us kids of all ages, 1 to 120 and beyond. And in the theme song is the message that I want to spread around the globe, which is you're loved, you're seen, you're heard, and you matter, each and every one of us. And my way to spread that message is through my speaking, inspirational speaking workshops that I do, coaching, mentoring programs, and also singing. I do custom songs for people.
What would be the dream that you would like to manifest? How would you know that you achieved the big dream that you aspire to?
So, for example, the Kids Universe, let me just give you a specific example. The Kids Universe TV show, where I interviewed children and like our youth, and there is a subtitle to that, Unspoken Conversations with Our Youth, because I believe there's so much wisdom. I can give you an example, and I know I'm kind of going sideways, but just to give you an example, that one boy who is, he was 8 years at a time. And when I asked, what's your big dream? He says, I want the same question I asked the child. And he says, I want peace. I want peace on this planet and no war. And if people want war, let them play a game. Let it be a game war. put it in the computer game, but don't bring that concept of war outside the screen. And I thought it was a profound idea. So my dream, I want people, speaking about attention and intention, to focus on love and live through love. And the specifics of that, this show and this concept, I want it to be on one of the major networks, TV networks, in the world.
And what would that do for you?
What would that do for that? Then the message is going to be reached out as a shortcut to millions and billions of households, where the parents, the program is sort of like a continuation, or my way of doing Mr. Rogers' work, who's stood for the same ideas. It's love and connection, and how much we can learn from the little ones, and how we can create that connection between the adulthood and the childhood. So what would that do? This message of love and compassion and peace is going to be broadcasted to millions and billions of people. Eventually, what would that do is to create peace and love and connection inside each individual. And if the more love and connection, we can't give what we don't have.
Right.
So that's a simple idea, but it's not easily done. So I want people to reach that place when they can look at themselves in the mirror and say, I love you, looking at their own reflection. And if they love themselves, ultimately, they love their children, they love their spouses, they love people on the street. They are not getting guns and shooting people for no reason, just because they're angry and not content with who they are.
Right.
So, did I answer your question?
That is a wonderful vision. And I would love to support you in manifesting your dream. So let me ask you this. Why haven't you manifested it by now?
Why haven't I manifested it right now? I'm finishing 6 episodes. It's going to be season 1. They are at the end of the editing process, where we were shooting not in the studio, but in the open space several years ago, and they're going to be done. So once they are done, they are going to be on my YouTube channel, and I will be reaching out to networks. So it's just the timing of it. It's in the process.
Very good. How would you need to be different from the way that you are now? Or let me put it this way. Can you visualize yourself achieving what you just shared with us about getting your show on the networks?
Yes.
And reaching out millions of people? Can you imagine being able to see yourself from point of view of a fly on a wall?
From the point of view of a fly on the wall? A flower. I would prefer to be a flower on the wall.
Butterflies on
Butterfly on the wall.
The proverbial fly on the wall.
Okay.
This fly doesn't care about your appearances. It doesn't care about your behavior. It only pays attention to your energy.
Yes. Oh, yes.
What kind of energy would you need to have in order to manifest this dream?
Well, big loving energy. And I can totally picture myself having and being that.
If that energy has any texture or color or movement to it, what would it be?
And guys, I want you to let me just interject for our listener. First of all, I want to say, Yulia Kisilyova, thank you so much for watching us on Instagram. And Karas Nana. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your social handles. I'm so sorry. But guys, thank you so much for being with us. And Lama is coaching me right now. He's demonstrating his work and it's helping me. So he's working on me, but hopefully it's gonna be translated into manifestation of your dreams, guys. Okay, so your last question was, does it have texture or color?
Yeah, any color or texture or movement or density.
As far as the movement, it's lightness of flapping the wings like the butterflies. Or I actually have the trademark hummingbird philosophy thing because hummingbirds are the one creature on this planet. There's many more, of course, but this one that I know a lot of, there's a story that I'm not going to get into, but it really, every time we see a hummingbird, it means whatever we thought was impossible for us is actually possible because they can fly any direction, etc. So as far as it's the lightness, it's the meaning like versus heaviness of the energy. It's the lightness and the grounded feeling that this is what the world needs, and this is what my understanding of the world of how this is my vision for the world. And that's as far as the movement. As far as the color, it could be, I like primary colors, but mostly bright ones like red and blue and green and purple and white and orange, you name it. Like
that's what we like, but what would be the energy specifically associated with that way of being that is required for you to manifest the dream?
Could you repeat the question, please?
What would be the energy associated with that way of being that would be required for you to manifest this dream?
Bright red. If in terms of color, bright red. Yeah.
Very good. One more question. If you can imagine a fly on a wall or one of those butterflies on your wall, being able to see your energy right now, how would your energy look different from what you just described in terms of color or density or movement?
If they were looking at me right now,
yeah.
So how do I need to? What's the energy like right now? Right now, if they are looking at me at this specific moment, is my energy different from what I would like to be? Probably not.
Not from what you'd like to be, from what energy is required for you to manifest your dream. You know, for any dream to manifest, there needs to be some energy that would support the manifestation of it. Now, the question is, where does it come from? We can either hope to bring it from outside somewhere, or we actually find that resource within ourselves and learn how to tap into it. And what we do essentially is we learn how to identify the energies that are specifically responsible for manifesting the dreams that we aspire to manifest. Once we develop this ability to connect with the appropriate resources, then it's just a matter of nourishing this energy, bringing it forward to the foreground, so to speak, putting in the driver's seat, making it your driving force, and then allowing that energy to actually propel you in the direction of manifestation of your dream, because you will become unstoppable. You become unstoppable because you are in flow. And if you resonate with this flow, you align yourself with it, how can you be stoppable? If anything or anyone trying to stop you would be struggling against the whole flow of the universe. That's a lot of fun, of work.
Yes.
So what we do is we learn how to align ourselves with the appropriate, with the right frequencies of energy of the universe. And then we learn how to surf these waves of energy, how to navigate them. We don't always move in one direction like as a crow flies. Often we have to navigate around certain challenges or obstacles in our way but we no longer perceive them as problems.
Beautiful.
Realize them they're just milestones or certain landmarks that we navigate around, and that it becomes the game or the art of being in the flow.
Thank you so much for this mini coaching session. And it was really valuable. I've had so many coaches in my life, as you know, and it's the first time when I hear this specific, like in your words, explaining how we create from the energetic standpoint rather than coming from your head and putting the goals on paper and things like that. So thank you for that. I have the last question before we're gonna wrap up. If people get out of the flow, you can choose, you can actually, or merge maybe the answers to these two questions. And the reason I'll tell you why. I get that question a lot, especially women, because I work mostly with women and maybe men too. But women are more prone to that, especially with this era of social media, when you open any device and you can see what other people are doing. They get discouraged by comparing themselves to others. How do we stop that? And because that brings you, it literally takes you out of the flow immediately. So how do you get back in to the flow? Maybe there is a specific technique that you can recommend, or an exercise, or anything, something tangible that people can try.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you brought this question up, because this is one of the ways that we sabotage ourselves. So you're absolutely right. We literally are our own worst critics. And the more we criticize ourselves, the more we focus on something or some quality or some trait that we don't resonate with. Now, when you focus on something you do resonate with, it's easy to be in the flow, because that resonance allows you to relax and flow easily. If you focus on something that you don't resonate with, it's like focusing on what creates friction. Instead of flow, you basically are either stalling or spinning the wheels. And obviously, the more we focus on things that we don't resonate with, the less flow we experience. So the simplest and not the most advanced, not the most effective, but the simplest way to transition from sabotaging our own efforts and undermining our own abilities to live our dreams, and transition to some degree of flow, at least, is by learning to practice not just gratitude, but actual attentiveness to things that we do resonate with. Gratitude is an excellent example of focus on what you resonate with, but usually it's related to something in the past, like something happened, somebody said something or did something to you, and you're grateful for it. Or you may be grateful for certain things that you acquired in the past. But how do we actually apply the same power associated with gratitude to the current moment? Well, we actually need to develop certain discernment based on energy resonance. Most people don't pay any attention to energy resonance because they operate in a relatively black and white manner of perceiving things. And by black and white, I mean there is a certain belief that there are good things and there are bad things. And if we focus, if we operate in this belief, then of course we want more of those things that are good, and we want to get rid of things that are bad. It's a very dualistic, linear way of relating to things. That basically is the root cause of what we would call attachments and aversions. Now, attachments and aversions are never going to create a sense of flow, because we are constantly exerting ourselves trying to get rid of things that we don't like and trying to get more of those things that we do like. And it's also very limited. It's start-stop linear movement along just one dimension, so to speak. It's like you're stuck in a perspective, in a tunnel vision, and everything that you perceive is either good along this one linear scale, and you want more of that, or you pull it towards you, or something that you perceive bad, you want to push it away. This push-pull or attachment and aversion attitude has never made anyone happy. It's also the cause of a lot of suffering. Why? Because what's considered good by some people may be considered bad or not so good by others. In other words, there's no social agreement.
Yeah.
And there is another issue with those labels, that they don't really stay true. What was good yesterday may turn out to be not so good tomorrow, and vice versa. What seemed to be crappy yesterday actually turns out to be a blessing in disguise. So these labels just don't work. They don't have perpetuity over time, and there is no social agreement about them. Anyone who operates in this black and white way of looking at things, including looking at ourselves, is bound to suffer. Guaranteed. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is to transcend the black and white perception of things. Literally letting go of this filter of perception that perceives everything in a polarized manner, that something is either good or bad, and replace it with much more intelligent way of looking at things. That things have certain energies. People have certain energies. Events in our lives have certain energies. With some of them we resonate with. For example, if you resonate with a person, what does it feel like to be in their company?
Well, it's you feel ease. That's what you feel. You feel ease and love. And you want more of it. You want more of it.
Yeah, literally, your physiology changes.
Yes.
You relax, it becomes easier for you to breathe. You have less stress hormones raging through your system and actually making you get older quicker. So how do we prevent aging? One of the secrets of youth is actually to become less stressed out. Because stress hormones is what causes aging. Literally, it robs us of many years of our lives. How do we learn how to be less stressed? We learn how to relax under pressure.
Yes, and that's where your coaching and Qigong coaching comes in, right? Exactly. I think there's so much. You are, Lama, I'm so sorry for interrupting. It's just because there's so much wealth of information. It's just completely, we're definitely going to go for the round 2. But before we end, I want people to know, guys, you can see how much, like Lama, he is just a walking, not encyclopedia. He's just walking wisdom, and he has so much inside of him, and that's why he's helping. Like I got a lot of benefit from the coaching today. He also, Lama, you have a program coming up, right? Coaching program. Could you please tell very briefly about the coaching program and how to find it? The link is going to be in the description on Facebook, on Facebook Hummingbird Academy today, right, where we are live. It's also going to be on YouTube on Jana Shpits channel. But please tell us how what the coaching program is about and how people can join, those who are interested.
Certainly. Well, the program is a basic program that introduces you to the fundamentals of Qi Dao. Qi Dao is my family lineage of Qigong. It comes from Tibetan tradition of Bon, or Tibetan shamanism, and it's been in my family for a long time. And thanks to my training and exposure to this tradition, I am capable of sharing it with people in this country and worldwide. In a sense, it was a blessing in disguise that I actually left my country, left my family, and ended up receiving asylum in the United States. So now I'm actually sharing this wisdom with the folks who are in alignment, who resonate with it. So this is literally an exploration of energy resonance and development of discernment. We also learn how to do it, not just theoretically, not just mentally, but actually learn how to embody it in our physical bodies through movement, through body alignment, through expression and energy awareness. We develop the ability to literally walk the talk.
Nice.
And this is something that creates not just a new skill or a new technique, it creates the new culture of movement.
Mm-hmm.
It literally trains your body to move differently. And you know, you are the way you move. If you move in a harmonious way, you exhibit harmonious culture movement. You live in a harmonious manner. And what we do is we learn how to develop harmonious culture of movement through our practices. It's a 3-month-long program that includes both group coaching webinars every other week, and also individual coaching with yours truly every other week. 6 coaching sessions are included in the program.
Mm-hmm.
6 webinars.
And the link?
And you also receive an online course, the whole multimedia training material. Plus, at the end of the program, we have a 2-day weekend live event here in Portland, Oregon. So people fly in from all over the world and participate in our events. Thanks to the pandemic, it's not as easy to travel these days. So this event is going to be at the end of December. Hopefully things are going to be a little easier.
Much easier, yes.
We may actually hold it in the beginning of January if necessary to wait until January. But the rumors are that at least the current level of restrictions on travel is going to get easier in January. If that's true, we're going to have some serious fun because we're going to have an opportunity to meet face to face, to have some hands-on experiences. And also I will conduct an initiation into the practice of empowerment.
Beautiful.
At the end of the weekend workshop. So the link that I shared with you,
Mm-hmm.
which is academyofqidao.com.
We will put the link. We will put the link everywhere. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that
actually is the link to first just to get a little acquainted. I'm not expecting people to sign up for the 3-month program. It's like, you know, you have a first date. You don't just ask them out and ask them to marry you. So I invite the folks to first just learn a few things that I have to offer, see how they improve the quality of life. If
Great.
this is something that works and you feel like this is the best thing since sliced bread and you want more of it, you know that you can connect with me and continue exploring it deeper.
Yes. And you are Lama Tantrapa on YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter. On Twitter, you are Tantrapa. It's very easy to find. Lama, I can't tell you how excited I am about today, and I hope you guys are excited about our conversation too. Please let us know. At the end, I want to ask you 2 questions. Lama and I, we're curious to know. First, what was the biggest takeaway from this conversation for you? Second, what is your big dream and what are the steps from Lama's coaching that you are going or already implemented as he was coaching me? We would be curious to know about that. And as always, please follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on all the social platforms. It's Jana Shpits and Dream Big with Jana. Any questions to Lama or myself? Please, by no means, let us know on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube. We are available anywhere, basically everywhere on social platforms. But without further ado, I just want to say thank you. You've been listening and watching to Dream Big with Jana, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. And today, my special guest was the amazing and phenomenal Lama Tantrapa, Qigong coach. Thank you, Lama. Thank you so much. We are going to have round 2.
You say so?
Okay. Thank you, guys. Until next time. Bye.